Good evening, everybody, and welcome. We begin this evening with Special Counsel Jack Smith's persecution of Donald Trump and his intended intimidation of a federal judge. Judge Eileen Cannon has partially granted Smith's request to redact names of government witnesses in the Trump classified documents case. This marks the end of a long-running dispute between Cannon, who has done her best to uphold the law, and Smith, who appears to have done his best to subvert the law. In her ruling, Cannon criticized Smith's request as, quote, sweeping in nature because it applies to all government witnesses, which she called unprecedented, and Smith claimed revealing the identities of those witnesses against Trump would put them in danger. But it's clear to anyone that he has, that is, Jack Smith has, abused every part of the process in order to get his way. And by the way, his intimidation tactics against the judge are all too clear. Cannon ultimately conceded to the nasty little jackal, and Smith is at an advantage now because Judge Cannon is forced to operate within the boundaries of the law and that agreement. Smith's entire job is to subvert those boundaries with his crusade to, quote unquote, get Trump. And get Trump just got a little easier because he succeeded in intimidation of a federal district court judge. Turning now to New York, where President Trump is also facing another witch hunt. New York Supreme Court Judge Juan Merchan is ensuring Trump's upcoming Manhattan trial certainly will not be a fair one. There's no dispute about that. Judge Merchan just approved a questionnaire for jury selection, asking jurors which media they read, they watch, and so on. If you're a fan of this program and use True Social, there's a good chance Merchan won't let you within 100 yards of that trial. It's obvious he's trying to filter out MAGA, America First, Trump supporters who have favorable views of Trump and attract as many jurors as possible. Those people he wants to have a really negative view of President Trump. The judge's prejudice and hypocrisy is simply beyond comprehension. His daughter claims Kamala Harris is a professional client. She's a regular Democrat donor. Merchant lives in a Democrat Party household. Well, it's a Marxist household by any other name. But the judge is now worried about ideological bias based on those questions. He's only worried about it if it goes in favor of President Trump. These judges, these prosecutors, I'm telling you, whether it's New York or whether it's D.C., they are as ignorant as they can be. They are without conscience and certainly without honor. They are shredding the Constitution and this country's idea of what is truth, justice, and the American way. And now joining us, investigative journalist Laura Loomer. She's done a tremendous job exposing Judge Merchan, and we are delighted to have her here on the show. And Laura, welcome back. I want to start, if I may, with a development that has just occurred, and that is the FISA reauthorization has just been blocked by the Republicans in the House of Representatives. The details are scant right now, but Mike Johnson, if I may call him the idiot speaker, has just run into a buzzsaw. Your thoughts?
Well, look, I think it's great that the Republicans finally either discovered their balls or grew a pair of balls, right, Lou? So President Trump this morning took to True Social and told them to kill the FISA bill. So finally they listened, because right. Donald Trump is the leader of the Republican Party. And as you said, Mike Johnson has been a very weak Speaker of the House. And so it's great to see that the Republicans finally grew some sense and decided to, kill this bill that only exists and wants to continue to exist for the sake of illegally spying on conservatives. And my greatest concern was that it was going to be further weaponized against President Trump and his campaign in 2024, just like we saw in 2016 under the orders of Barack Hussein Obama. So It's not, finally some good news out of Washington. You don't really get many Republican wins
Absolutely.
these days, but we got to celebrate when we do.
Well, this, and to your point, I mean, this is a win. And it is a big win. And it is a big win for Chairman Jim Jordan, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. He said he would not sign on with any kind of bill that was not reform itself. And he's stuck to his guns on that as well. And our compliments and thanks to Chairman Jordan as well. And the President Trump standing up and saying this is idiocy to put this bill forward. The Republicans are understanding they have to listen to him for a change. They're going to have to understand that this is a huge change for the rhino establishment Republicans like Mike Turner, the head of the House Intel Committee. For that fool to actually sign on to this bill is ignorance of the highest level, and his conduct has been of the lowest level. Frankly, the Republican Party is in deep, deep trouble, and they have to come together around this issue, or the party is going to pay a price here. I truly believe if they, for whatever reason, go along as Mike Johnson and Mike Turner wanted them to do, and instead of listening to the president. To this point, they're listening to President Trump, the leader of the party, as you say. Your thoughts about where we go from here?
Well, hopefully they continue to listen because they don't really do too much listening. And as it stands, we have a 1-seat majority, and it's going to take one more of these geriatrics in Congress to either slip or fall or have a heart attack or stroke out, or who knows, maybe they'll be like Mike Gallagher and Kevin McCarthy and maliciously submit their early retirement resignation before the end of the 2024 presidential election. And then we'll get Speaker Hakeem Jeffries. So hopefully they continue to listen and actually hold the majority, because it seems to me like their behavior thus far is indicative of a party that not only wants to lose in November, but also wants to surrender willingly, that is, surrender the House majority. So I'm not really going to get my hopes up too much because as William Shakespeare once said, expectation is the root of all unhappiness. And it seems like all the Republican Party knows how to do is deliver disappointment and unhappiness.
Laura, it's always great to talk with you. Thanks so much. Laura Loomer, we appreciate everything you do. God bless you. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Lou.
And turning now to this story, NPR accused of its Marxist bias by one of its own top journalists, National Public Radio editor Yuri Berliner, is calling out NPR for failing to practice any kind of objective journalism. They have no diversity when it comes to viewpoint. And you know, diversity is our strength, right, NPR? Berliner said NPR has gone so far left, that is, to Marxism itself, that it has left the rest of the country behind. Berliner is no conservative. He voted against Donald Trump twice, but he said that it's undeniably a problem when Democrats outnumber Republicans in the NPR newsroom by, are you ready for this? 87 Democrats, 0 Republicans. Listen to how he described NPR's shift from, well, left to wonky Marxist totalitarian.
We were kind of nerdy and really like to dig into things and understand the complexity of things. That I think that's evolved over the years into a much narrower kind of niche thinking, a group think that's really clustered around a very selective progressive views that don't allow enough air, enough spaciousness to consider all kinds of perspectives.
And why should you care about this at all? Well, first of all, your tax dollars are funding NPR. You're paying for NPR to pollute the airwaves with their Marxist dim propaganda, with anti-America trash. And second, a network like NPR could provide a great public service, but now it's just a left-wing Marxist propaganda machine out to destroy President Trump and to absolutely entrench the Marxist Dems and their Marxist totalitarian ways. Coming up next, tens of thousands of military-aged Chinese nationals pouring across our Well, it's actually the Mexican drug cartel's border now, our southern border, it used to be. We'll take a closer look at the national security threat posed by those Chinese communist nationals. Straight ahead. Stay with us.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
Now's the time to go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your MyPillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
mypillow.com.
And welcome back. A shocking new admission from a CIA officer confirming what many of us have long said about January 6th, that federal agents were undercover in the crowd that day and trying to entrap more than a few of them, it seems. The official was caught on camera by an undercover journalist called Sound Investigations. The self-proclaimed CIA contracting officer is named Gavin O'Blinnis. He said there were roughly 20 undercover FBI agents in the crowd. Take a listen.
The Bureau didn't really want people knowing that they were in the crowd. Because that would be overstepping their bounds.
A little bit.
Do people know that?
Why?
Do people know that the Bureau was in the crowd?
Nope, and probably never will.
And it's important to note that FBI Director Christopher Wray absolutely said there weren't any agents anywhere in that crowd. And he told that to Congress. Wray said, quote, "I do not believe there were undercover agents on the scene," end quote. He didn't believe. That sounds like wiggle room, doesn't it? If what O'Blinnis said is true, it is the first admission by a government official that the FBI was present in the crowd. The Biden administration is now caught in another lie, of course, about the events of January 6th. The first lie is that it was insurrection. What a lie. And O'Blinnis, he went on to brag about the tactics that the CIA uses against those they perceive as political opponents or outright enemies. Listen to this.
You can kind of put anyone in jail if you know what to do.
How?
You set them up. You create the situation to where they have no choice but to act on their impulse. And once they act on that impulse, then we call that entrapment. It's a fine line.
Does the Bureau practice entrapment a lot?
We get really close.
Not officially.
No. We get as close as we can. We get as close as we can to it without doing it.
So they can entrap some of these pro-lifers into doing things that they don't.
Depending, yeah. We call it a nudge.
Not entrapment, mind you, just a little nudge, a little nudge. Well, these political opponents apparently included, as discussed there, Alex Jones. O'Blinnis said the agency was, quote, after him, hardcore, end quote. The regime accomplished what it wanted, to take a lot of his money. This new revelation comes as the FBI quietly released new information about Ashley Babbitt, the only person to be killed on January 6th. Babbitt was the female Trump supporter who was shot and killed by Lieutenant Michael Byrd of the Capitol Police. At point-blank range, she was absolutely unarmed. And by the way, the Judicial Watch, the very important, if not the most important watchdog group in Washington, D.C., filing a $30 million wrongful death suit against Lieutenant Michael Byrd. Well, the Bureau, the FBI, released the previously unclassified file while most Americans were marveling over the solar eclipse yesterday. A little well, it's the opposite of a little something shiny over here to distract us all. It was something going dark, wasn't it? It's all part of the same pattern. Congress sneaks spending bills overnight while Americans sleep. Bombshell reports are dropped on Friday afternoons and evenings. And similarly, this controversial classified file released during, the solar eclipse. They don't want the American people to ever notice or to quite see the truth or understand it. Babbitt's 69-page file includes details of her death and testaments to her character. No mention of her killer, Police Lieutenant Michael Byrd, who remains free. One of the more shocking details in the report is found on page 3. It states that since Babbitt is deceased, the case is not being nominated to TSBD, that is, terrorist screening data. So they wanted to paint Ashley Babbitt as a terrorist, these ignorant, corrupt fools that make up these D.C. law enforcement agencies, intel agencies, and of course, the good old FBI. She was an Air Force veteran, and it's a disgrace, a disservice to her, an insult to her family, and to her death. It's outrageous, and there has to be an accounting. Meanwhile, a group of January 6 defendants have reportedly filed a class action lawsuit against 21 Capitol Police officers and others seeking millions of dollars in damages. And Jake Lang is one of those defendants. You know him from this show. Jake Lang was just moved to solitary confinement yesterday at the Metropolitan Detention Center, moved there in Brooklyn last night. Now, he'd been scheduled to be on the show tonight. We don't know if there was any correlation to that, but Jake himself, he is a warrior, and he managed to get a call to us, and he is with us now in this recording with an update, calling in from one of Joe Biden's gulags in D.C. And Jake, thanks for doing so. Here is Jake Lang in that recorded message.
Hey, everybody, it's Jake Lang. Mr. Lou Dobbs, God bless you. So sorry I couldn't be live with you today. Dealing with some incredible circumstances. I was moved to solitary confinement in Brooklyn, MDC, just last night. There has been some absolute attacks on my First Amendment rights to be able to communicate.
This call is from a federal prison.
I'm a pretrial detainee, as you know, Lou, and the American people know, for 1,190 days. In 5 days, it'll be literally 4 months without a trial. 40 months without a trial held by the Biden regime. And our case is going before the Supreme Court in 5 days. I will not be active. I will be cut off from all communications. And I'll be praying for our 9 Supreme Court justices to strike down the 1512 obstruction of Congress charge. It is absolutely imperative that they make the right decision. 330 January 6 defendants' lives are literally being held in limbo right now. Hundreds of people will go home immediately that are being held for no other reason other than this trumped-up, politically motivated, over broadly applied charge, the 1512 20-year maximum felony federal statute. It's the obstruction of Congress charge, and so we're going to be praying for that. Donald Trump's life is also in the hands. He has this criminal charge as well. They are using this as a bludgeoning tool, a blanket charge for their political enemies, and this is the most pure example of a two-tiered weaponized justice system. So we'll be praying for that. It's also my 4th birthday, just 3 days ago, April 7th. I turned 29 years old. My 4th birthday in the Gulag. I was 25 on January 6th. I'm now 29. And very appreciative for you, Lou, for every single person that supports the January 6ers out there, my friends, my family, my brother Huang, my beautiful fiance Rachel. I'll be holding you guys close in my heart as I'm sitting in this very precarious, very inhumane circumstance on the rooftop of Brooklyn, MDC, the high-rise in the middle of New York City, where they house career criminals, and this is a place for people like Jeffrey Epstein that were murdered in this criminal holding facility by our own government, and this is a place where you don't want to be. So I'll be here just continuing to praise God and give him the glory throughout this adversity. He's molding me and molding the whole January 6th movement, and we're grateful to serve a loving God. On top of this, for the American people out there that have not heard about it yet, the 77 January 6ers, including myself, have filed a massive class action lawsuit against the Capitol Police, 21 Capitol Police officers and the Metropolitan Police for brutalizing the American people and basically inciting a riot. They attacked us first, and we are suing multi-million-dollar lawsuit. We have been serving Capitol Police officers across the country, all the way as far as California they've ran to. Most of them, because of their shame of their actions on January 6th and the government trying to hide them away, have been moved to different positions. Like Yogananda Pittman is now the chief of police of UC Berkeley in California, and other officers are in different police agencies across the country. So we have our process servers out there hunting them down, in a most humane way possible, obviously, and serving them with their disguised mustaches and popping out of vans, and you got served. So this is an incredible opportunity for the January 6ers to flip the script on the Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police that brutalized and incited, obviously. And we will be seeing our day in court where they are on the ropes and being held accountable for their actions of murdering 4 unarmed American citizens that day. It's going to hang up on me in about 10 seconds. Lou Dobbs, I'm sending you a recording, my brother. I just recorded 5-minute pre-recording. I'm sorry, I have to go. I'm in the hole. That beep right there means I have 5 seconds left. I love you, Rachel. I love you, Huang. I love you, Lou. God bless you guys.
And that is Jake Lang. He is a great American, like so many other Americans in the D.C. Gulag, January 6 prisoners of the left, the Marxists in Washington, D.C. He's a man of exemplary courage. And also, we want to say thank you to Jake for getting that message out to us. And it's a great message of hope to all who are in the grasp of the Marxist Dems, who have defiled the Constitution and who have corrupted our great federal government. Jake Lang, thank you so much, and God bless you. Turning now to crime, more crime, which is becoming rampant thanks to the Marxist Dem Party and the deep state that is wholly out of control and wholly in control of our federal government. An elderly woman left in critical condition after a violent attack and robbery that took place on the steps of a Greek Orthodox church in New York City. The suspect was described as a man with dark complexion, quote unquote. Watch this.
While outside, the victim is being followed from behind. When she reaches the top step, the suspect jumps in front of her, knocks her down so hard she goes airborne, landing at the bottom of the stairs. The good-for-nothing suspect then steals $300 cash, her cell phone, her car keys, and then drove off in her car. While he's in the wind somewhere, cruising in her car, the 68-year-old is in critical condition at Booth Memorial Hospital.
Lowest life forms. That's what's running through all of New York and sanctuary cities all across the country. A disgrace is such a sad moment in this country's history. And this is what the Marxist Dems have invited. It's what they support. That's who they're voting for. And if you are thinking of voting for a Democrat, a Marxist Dem, and I don't care who he or she is, you're voting for Marxism and the destruction of the constitutional republic and this great nation. And you're voting for the beating of elderly women trying to practice their faith. It is just a disgrace to this country. In Colorado, another shocking, disgusting video shows a black woman assaulting a special needs child, a child who was strapped into a seat on a bus. And what you're about to watch will turn your stomach. And I assure you, you won't even believe such outrageous and disgusting behavior by a human being. And what you're watching is that woman who works with children with disabilities, assaulting that child, slapping him, elbowing him, smashing her arm and her hand into his face. This is the new Marxist dim. You're watching one in action, and it has become the norm instead of the exception. How many other children have been assaulted? We don't know, but we know this is not the only one. This woman has already been released back onto the streets on bond. No justice for this kid or his family. The outrage is just beyond comprehension. The woman free to go about assaulting other innocent children, many of them with special needs, like the one you just watched. On a brighter note, President Trump stopping at a Chick-fil-A while in Atlanta, Georgia today. The video is truly incredible, shows why Trump is a true man of the people, and the people truly appreciate him. Take a look.
So can I have 30 milkshakes? And also some chicken. I'm going to take care of the customers. Is business good? You're making a lot of money? You're getting rich, right? Thank you very much.
So I don't care what the media tells you, Mr. Trump. We support you.
We support you, man.
Okay, 4 p.m. We've been 4 p.m.
Come here, let me give you a
And now the $25 extravaganza. All of you out there know Mike Lindell and MyPillow are no longer supported by big box stores or the shopping channels they once used to have, but they're part of the cancel culture. And now Mike Lindell wants to pass savings directly onto you to introduce you to great new products. They're having a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was a, one problem, one solution product company. Since then, with the help of his employees, hundreds of products have been produced. Some of them you may not even know about, but Mike Lindell means for you to get to know them. They're having a $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, just $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. Their 6-pack towels, brand new 4-pack dish towels, both, you guessed it, just $25. For the first time ever, the premium MyPillows with the all-new Giza fabric, any size, any loft level, even king size, just $25. The amazing offer doesn't last forever, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com or call 800-977-9152 and use promo code Dobbs. That's DOBBS. Promo code Dobbs. And coming up next, America First Republicans fighting to stop a new FISA bill. Another bill, a warrantless wiretapping, brought to you by the House Intel Committee and, of course, the deep state and intelligence community. They're calling for its passage in the House. The Speaker wants it. The bill would allow the FBI and NSA and everyone else in the intelligence community to spy on American citizens whenever they want, even without a warrant. Thank you very much, Washington, D.C. That's next. Stay with us.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Welcome back. Donald Trump and a group of House Republicans joining forces today to kill the reauthorization of that Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. That is a huge win. It may not be long-lasting, but it is a huge win for now. as the deep state has abused the tool to conduct warrantless spying and surveillance of Americans for years. Mike Johnson, the perfidious speaker, backing efforts to renew the authorization to renew that legislation. But even he was forced to bend the knee against President Trump. And thank God he did. And thank God President Trump is leading this weak-kneed Republican Party. And that is great news for you and me and all of America. And joining us now to talk about all of this, these critical issues, is U.S. Army veteran, cybersecurity subject matter expert, Nate Kane. He's a former FBI whistleblower, congressional candidate in West Virginia's 2nd District. And Nate, great to have you with us here. You've just heard Kentucky's Congressman Tom Massey grilling, Mike Turner, the chairman of the House Intel Committee. I have to tell you, I think the guy is one of the most objectionable people in Congress. He betrays his constituents, the American people, and he rolls over for the intelligence community and the deep state. Your thoughts about it?
Well, I would agree 100%. You know, all of these people who serve in the United States government have all sworn an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And the fact is that these tools are being used day in and day out to spy on the American people. The courts have ruled on this, and they're violating people's Fourth Amendment rights and their Fifth Amendment rights as well.
And when you watch one of these folks, I mean, you want to go work there. I have to tell you, I'm not sure I'd want to be even associated with them, the way they are conducting themselves. Give us a sense of what you think you can do as a congressman from the 2nd District in the great state of West Virginia.
Well, for one thing, I've been read on to FISA. I've been read on to Section 702. I'm very aware of how the program is supposed to operate. It's supposed to not be able to be used against American citizens or against even foreigners on U.S. soil. The fact is the Constitution comes into play. It's only supposed to be being used against foreign nationals overseas. But the fact is it's been abused. Like I was saying earlier, there was a case here. This was back May 19th of last year. A federal court ruled that there were over 278,000 times that Section 702 was used illegally to spy on the American people. Now, how in the world people aren't concerned about that? Because at the end of the day, what that means is that the FBI is abusing this program. And the fact is the FBI has a domestic mission. So why do they need this tool? I don't believe it should be in the hands of the FBI.
So let me ask you this. You know, as you said, you're read in, and I'm sort of read out. I'm sick of looking at all this nonsense that's being generated by the House Intel Committee. The committee itself is a disgrace, led by Mike Turner. The Speaker of the House is now saying he doesn't have any problem with a warrantless wiretap of American citizens. We've reached a pretty low level here. It's one thing if it's the Marxist Dems in the Democrat Party calling for totalitarian measures, but now you've got fools like Mike Turner and Mike Johnson just signing on. Now the assumption is by most, I would say many, is that they're both compromised, that somebody's got something on them, because, for example, Mike Johnson has always said he does not support warrantless wiretaps. He's always stood up until now that he's Speaker. So it looks like somebody got him by the nape of the neck and are telling him what to do. What is your thinking?
Well, you know, I think that's a great possibility. When I was actually blowing the whistle on the FBI's cover-up of Hillary Clinton's crimes, and I was meeting with one of Devin Nunes's senior staff members, I asked him, how do you want me to contact you? Because he had asked me to go back and get other information. And I said, do you want me to call? He said, no. He said, we are under the assumption that the FBI is monitoring our calls. Now, think about that for a moment. This is a senior staff member to the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence who was concerned about being spied on by the FBI. And it turns out he was right. There was a document that was classified that had been released by the Senate Judiciary Chairman, Chuck Grassley, not too long after that showed that the CIA had been spying on the intelligence committees in order to identify whistleblowers. So the fact is they do and have used these tools illegally against the American people, and likelihood is against members of Congress and possibly even sitting judges. And that is a very dangerous tool to have.
When you say judges, I'm fairly certain and have been told by another whistleblower and by people who were working in the intelligence community that, in point of fact, they know for a fact that some justices of the U.S. Supreme Court have been compromised through their surveillance, and you can bet they were being blackmailed. I mean, when you look at what is happening in terms of the Supreme Court right now, you have to scratch your head when you try to figure out what Chief Justice John Roberts is doing. He was a conservative. Right now, he looks like a left-winger on far too many of the judgments that he's making and the decisions that he is signing on with. It's really remarkable. And when we talk about what this intelligence community is doing here, also, I've been told that it doesn't really matter what they do with this legislation because the NSA can do everything that it needs to do without even a stroke of a pen anywhere with a warrant. That's their job. But the other part of it is, to your point earlier, you said this is all about just spying on foreigners overseas, abroad. Why in the world do we need an act of Congress for our intelligence agencies to be spying on foreign citizens in foreign countries? I mean, that's preposterous.
Well, see, the way the system's supposed to work is it basically collects everything, right? You know, it's collecting all sorts of data. And what they say is that, when you go in and you do a search in the system, because you're looking at metadata and you unmask something, if that's an American citizen or if it is a foreigner on American soil, that entry is supposed to be immediately deleted because it was not collected in accordance to the U.S. Constitution. And but that's not what's been happening. They've been passing information between the agencies with unmasked. That was happened under that was in the last week of Obama's presidency that he put that into play, and that's why Samantha Powers, of course, had done all of those those 702 requests on Trump and his campaign. They're doing something called reverse targeting, where that's right, and they're doing something called reverse targeting as well, which is where they know who it is that they want to target, but they go and they find out, okay, that phone number is connected to this number, and maybe that number is a foreign national, and so they will then find somebody else to initially to do the search on and then trace it back. And it's illegal, it's unconstitutional, and it's dangerous because what they're looking for, I believe, is blackmail. They are looking for a way to be able to manipulate and control these members of Congress. Let's not forget, it wasn't too long ago, and I can't remember his name, but there was a sitting member of Congress who came out and publicly said that the way it works in Congress is like this. You go overseas with your colleagues, and then maybe you're sitting at a bar and some beautiful woman comes up to you and is laughing at all your jokes and is more beautiful than should be interested in you. And next thing you know, you find yourself in a compromising situation. But then when you're down on the floor in Congress, somebody comes up to you with a cell phone and they show you a picture of you taking some woman into your room and they say, yeah, you might want to vote differently on that bill. And so we have to believe that this congressman would not lie about this. And we know that there are people who are being bribed, obviously.
Well,
but
wait a minute. The congressman might just lie. Let's not give too much credit there, Nate. But I take your point. The issue is blackmail. The issue is intimidation. And we know that too many justices in the Supreme Court have been perhaps both intimidated and blackmailed. We know far too many congressmen and senators have been intimidated and blackmailed. Right now, the deep state is in charge of this government. And Nate, we're out of time. I'm going to give you the concluding thought here and wish you all the very best in your quest to become the representative of the 2nd District of West Virginia. Thanks for being with us. Your concluding thoughts, if you will.
My thoughts on this are this. We need to absolutely have an Article 1 tribunal enacted within Congress. This is something that is Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution, and it allows for Congress to create a specialized court in order to adjudicate agency issues. The fact is, I don't trust the FBI when they've committed over 278,000 illegal searches of this tool, and not a single one of them have gone to jail for deprivation of rights under color of law. We need to adjudicate these issues. People need to go to jail for violating the rights of American citizens. And until they do, I will not trust a tool like this in their hands, period.
Nate Kane, thanks so much for being with us. And as I said, good luck in your quest to represent the 2nd District of West Virginia. Thanks so much. God bless.
You too.
And thank you. And if you want some idea of just how remarkable the Marxists are who are getting access to these extraordinarily powerful surveillance powers, Biden's new diversity czar, that you heard me right, wants to destroy every institution that made America great. Of course, all of those things that made the country a superpower, being white supremacy, that is the claim, or systemic racism, or the patriarchy, or whatever Marxist gobbledygook they can concoct and conjure to smear the greatest nation on earth, this constitutional republic. The end result of all these Marxist lunatics' policies is that American society is being torn apart with identity politics and divisiveness that is absolutely ginned up by every corner of the Biden regime. And the economy is wrecked as well as the left-wingers loot the economy. It should surprise no one that inflation continues to burn through Americans' budgets and wallets. Forbes reporting the Consumer Price Index 3.5% higher last month than in March of 2023. And let's not forget, food inflation is up a whopping 40% since Joe Biden took office. 40%. Inflation is approaching hyper levels. Coming up, tens of thousands of military-age Chinese nationals are rushing across the southern border, the Marxist dim southern border. We'll take a closer look at the national security threat they pose. And Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, he's been impeached. We'll check in on whether the mastermind behind the border crisis will actually have a trial in the U.S. Senate. Straight ahead. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow, towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept. I'm interrupting this commercial to let you know you can get our 6-piece My Towels, regular $69.98, now only $29.98. Or you can save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels, made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Also, we have bath sheets, bath towels, washcloths, hand towels, and so much more. And the best part, with your promo code, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Towels. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Welcome back. The border crisis is much worse than people imagine, because it's not just about those millions of illegal aliens crossing that border, the Mexican drug cartel border now, bringing with them fentanyl, killing, 100,000 of our Americans every year. Human traffickers victimizing, sexually abusing young girls. Sex trafficking, cartel members who murder Americans, wreak havoc in our inner cities. It's also about national security. And it might surprise you to know an alarming 20,000 Chinese nationals have crossed the southern border in just the last few months. And here is Dr. Sumantra Mitra of the American Conservative lighting up the Biden administration over just that.
No, I think the visa exemption is absolutely shambolic. I mean, if you say that China is one of the systemic threats, according to the new NATO doctrine, then obviously we need to stop people from, going to places which are of military importance. But it is also just one of the issues. The ultimate issue is not just high-quality visa or espionage, but also open borders. 20,000 Chinese men crossed the southern border in the last 1 year. There is no way to vet them. We have no idea whether they're intelligence. We have no idea whether they're military. We have no idea whether they're operating with local gangs or local members. It's absolutely insane. These are the people who would be in different parts of this country and going to be like sleeper cells. Look, I don't mean to say that there are no genuine refugees, but if you don't vet 20,000 military-aged men coming to your country from your southern border, then you don't have a border. You don't have a country.
And now the Biden administration is beholden to the Communist Chinese, compromised by them and willing to do whatever they're told by Xi Jinping. Take a look at all these military-age males crossing the border. Who knows where they're going or what they're doing or where they will head as soon as the Biden regime gives them a ticket on a private aircraft. The administration certainly doesn't seem to care, and Biden is allowing Chinese nationals to go to the U.S. protectorate of Guam as well. That is a strategic military base and protectorate without, they don't even need visas now. That is an open invitation to disaster. So stupid or complicit? My money is on stupid and complicit. How about you? Well, speaking of complicity, we have a serial oath-breaking traitor at the helm of the Department of Homeland Security, creepy Marxist cretin, straight out of a supervillain Central casting. He was on Capitol Hill today, but not to be impeached or thrown out of office. No, he's there doing his master's bidding, who is a puppet himself as well. They seem to be afraid of their own shadows. They're delaying sending articles of impeachment, by the way, the Republicans, to the Senate, because the Senate Democrats openly show contempt for national sovereignty, and the American people are planning to, we're going to get used to watching absolutely nothing happen when people betray the nation, yes, including Alejandro Mayorkas. So we're going to turn now to Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne, U.S. Congresswoman from the great state of Texas. And I want to just say thank you, Congresswoman, for joining us here. We appreciate it so much. And I'd like to start with what's going on the border, how the state of Texas is faring, given that it is the only border state standing up against the invasion of illegal aliens that has been incentivized and organized and facilitated by the Biden administration in league with the Mexican drug cartels.
You gave two options. You said they were either stupid or complicit. I'm going to throw a third one out there. I'm going to tell you that they're dangerously strategic. This is not by accident. This is not they're just going along to get along. They have planned this from day one. From day one, when Biden came in and said he was going to stop building the wall, when he came in and he said he was going to stop the Remain in Mexico policy, when they decided to do catch and release and had the Border Patrol agents, instead of acting as actually securing their border, became cab drivers and babysitters. And now they're travel agents by taking, millions and millions of dollars of taxpayer money and putting these people on planes all across the country at taxpayer expense. They're giving them cash cards. They're giving them phones. They're giving them health care. This is all at the cost of taxpayers, not just dollars, but also where they're going and getting health care, where they're going to live. Increases in crime. And we've seen it across the country, whether or not that's in New York, where you're seeing police officers who are getting beat in the middle of the day and then their criminals are being let out the next day without even cash bail or knowing who they are, or the 110,000 plus Americans who have died as a direct result of fentanyl. This is planned. And the unfortunate part that you bring up, all of the members from the CCP who are military age who have come over here, we have no idea what they want, what their intentions are, whether or not they're good, bad, evil. And then we also know we've had hundreds of people come in from the terrorist watch list. Unfortunately, Democrats are turning a blind eye to all of that risk. Why? If you just ask some of their members who've been very vocal about it, like Yvette Clarke from New York, it's because they want to increase the population in those states, in those areas that are blue, because they've lost census population, census numbers, to more red places where people are voting with their feet. And as a result, they're losing congressional districts. So at the end of the day, they're just trying to pad the numbers from the census so that they can continue to have control in the House and in the Senate. It's all about control, and they are totally ignoring the harm that's being done to our country.
Well, so what are the Republicans doing? Because you know what? I haven't heard the Republican Party, not in the House, not in the Senate. I didn't hear any debate whatsoever about it, about what to do about what is a replacement strategy that has been that is executed by the Biden administration, the Biden regime. Alejandro Mayorkas, who is walking around free as a bird and without a care in the world because he knows the Republicans are not going to impeach him. He continues to lie to the American people. He works as the personal ambassador to the Mexican drug cartels. I mean, the assault on this country is clear, and there is no response, despite 500,000 Americans being killed over the last, 3 years and 3 months of this administration through the overdose on fentanyl, and nobody cares. No one raises a hand.
I'd argue
raise
even though
their
we have
voice.
a razor-thin majority in the House, I'd argue we've done two major things. One, we passed H.R. 2 out of the House. It's been sitting in the Senate now for over a year. We passed it last March. And what that bill does is it changes the policies of the Biden administration. It says you don't have the authority to be able to do by executive order what you want to do, or brings back the Remain in Mexico policy.
But Congresswoman, that bill, as you well know, was not passed. It's not a law. It's an interesting experiment for the minority on Capitol Hill. And by that I mean,
what we've done
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, you've asked what we've done as lawmakers. We pass laws, and that was one law that we passed out of the House. It's sitting in the Senate. The other thing that we did, again,
I'm talking about in the United States Senate that did not take it up and did not pass it, and nor would the president sign it. My point being, there has to be concrete and specific actionable acts by the Republican Party here.
Well, the second thing that we did is we impeached
into this election.
we impeached Mayorkas. The House again. The
You
House,
impeached
of
him.
which I'm a member.
I'm
not a member of the Senate, so I can't take responsibility for the Senate. But from the House, we actually impeached Mayorkas.
Well, you're not a member. By the way, you're barely a member of the House of Representatives majority. There's one vote between you and complete irrelevance in the House. I mean, it's amazing how stupid the leadership of the Republican Party has been, and that has to be corrected.
So even with a slim majority, we were able to pass the articles of impeachment to get Mayorkas impeached because he's lied to Congress.
To no effect.
Yeah.
He's still in office. He'll be in office by the end of the year, right? I mean, let's talk about the reality of it.
Yeah. As a member of the House, what we can do is pass bills out of the House. Again, I have encouraged my Senate colleagues to pick that bill up. I would encourage anybody out there listening to your program, contact your senator. Make sure that they are pushing for these reforms.
Well,
this is our job as lawmakers.
Well, the great thing is that you sunk the FISA bill today. You stopped it. You blocked it, just as President Trump asked that you do, insisted that you do. That is a huge gain on the day. Don't you think that's the most important thing to happen here in quite some time? To stop the reauthorization of spying on American citizens?
You stop the rule. They're going to have another suspension vote, I'm sure, tomorrow, probably. So the bill has not been stopped.
Well, I hope you guys rise up and tell your speaker to go to hell. I mean, this got to stop. And President Trump is exactly right. There is no room for compromise on this bill whatsoever. And Congressman Jim Jordan, he said no compromise.
So I met with Jim Jordan earlier today, and there are amendments that you could add that they would support the bill. So there is a way to be able to move forward on this, regardless of whether or not some people look at it one way, the legal community looks at it another way. One of my best sheriffs in Tarrant County is supportive of some measures of it. We have to reform this program. This program has not been reformed in decades. It has to be reformed in order to prevent what exactly happened to Trump and his campaign. And the only way to do that is to actually add those reforms. And many of those reforms that would have prevented that specifically are included in this bill.
Congresswoman, the leader of your party has said, kill this bill. And if you guys play games with it and there is this little reform crap at the margin, and you watch again as you sign up for, pass a piece of legislation that means that you're going to be spied upon again, there's a cutout for Congress in it, for crying out loud. Mike Turner, the woe-begone rhino establishment Republican, what a gutless creep he is, as sitting there pushing that bill while he has got cutouts for Congress. The Republican Party tries to separate itself from the American people, and you're going to do a disservice to yourselves as well as to President Trump and his leadership. He's the only thing you guys have got working for you right now, so I hope, like the Dickens, you listen to him. What do you think?
I'm going to read the bill and see what the amendments get passed before I vote on it. And while I was part of the Trump administration for 2.5 years, I endorsed him before he became president. He's always endorsed me. I don't listen to one particular person when it deals with policy. I look at the bills. I look at what my constituents are saying, what they need. And when I've got a sheriff who is a very conservative sheriff in my district talking to me, I'm going to take that into account as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you one thing, just between you and me. This would be a great time to listen to President Trump, because he's got it figured. Congresswoman, thanks for being with us. Come back soon.
Thank you.
Congresswoman
Beth
Van Dyne. Thank you. All of you out there know Mike Lindell and MyPillow no longer have the support of their box stores or shopping channels where they once did. They've been part of the cancel culture. Not a willing part, of course, not a voluntary matter. But they want to pass on savings directly to you in a $25 extravaganza. And when Mike Lindell started MyPillow, it was just a one problem, one solution company. Well, since then, with the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds and hundreds of products. Some of you may not even know all about them. And to get the word out, they're having a $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, just $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. Their 6-pack towel sets, $25. And brand new 4-pack dish towels, just $25. For the first time ever, the premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, any size, any loft level, even king size, just $25. Imagine that. And the amazing offer, it doesn't last forever, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com or call 800-977-9152. That's 800-977-9152 and use promo code Dobbs, D-O-B-B-S. And join us each and every day for my podcast, The Great America Show, available at LouDobbs.com and wherever you get your podcasts. We thank you for being with us this evening. Join us here tomorrow, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Texas Congressman Troy Nehls, Arizona Congressman Eli Crane, and Sheriff David Clark. They'll all be here. You don't want to miss them. And the Lindell Report is next. And here is Mike Lindell. Thanks, good night, and God bless you.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The MyPillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, MyPillow 2.0. When I invented MyPillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. MyPillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature-regulating thread. MyPillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of MyPillow.
Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your MyPillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.